My void will consume you, if you ask nicely.
Your will is no longer your own.
Stay away from them. Tryhard!
You have led the horde to a place without honor.
Your petty quarrels only make me stronger.
Our world needs us, champion.
You got it over your head.
We cannot let the world fall to darkness.
Already lost.
Put your faith in the light, and all is possible.
Is it truly righteousness that drives you? I wonder.
It would seem you have guessed.
They are coming for you. This is the whispers of war.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whispers of War, show number 78. I'm your host Sil, and let's jump into not immediately all the World of Warcraft stuff, but let's just, reflect on what's going on, because the world is a little bit crazy at the moment. First of all, I hope that you and yours are all safe and that everyone is well and that you're just all trying to cope with what's going on. Of course, I'm talking about the coronavirus. It's one of those things that it's now so in your face that we kind of can't ignore it. That's why I'm mentioning it here. Also because it makes the days really odd. I don't know how you guys experience it, but to reflect a little bit how I am. I'm a homebody anyway. I'm not the kind of person who wants to go out all the time and socialize. I'm very happy just being at home, either reading a book, doing a bit of art, or just playing video games or watching TV with my other half. But it's weird. As soon as you're not allowed to do that certain thing, like going outside unnecessarily, I want to go outside unnecessarily. So yeah, I do feel, even after a week of being at home, a little bit of cabin fever. So in a way, I'm happy that I still work from home. So at least I have some routine, and I don't know if you guys do that, but I do try to, do the things that I would normally do when I work. I might be an hour longer in bed because I don't have to travel to work. That helps. But I do get dressed and I do my makeup and, have a sort of nutritious breakfast. And yeah, just get on with the day and really work from that time that I should be working until whenever my day finishes for work. And then I could do everything else in between. It's weird. It just feels really surreal to me. And for my personal situation, we have to at least self-isolate for 12 weeks because my other half is on immunosuppressants, which means that he is considered as one of those vulnerable people. And so I'm stuck indoors for at least 3 more weeks, or 3 more months. I did hear from the government today that apparently we are allowed to go for shopping, but only if it's really needed. So I think we'll try to empty the house with food. Basically, when we have nothing left and there's just a cracker or something or a breadstick, then we might risk going outside. But for now, we're just stuck inside playing our games. And it works. It's not too bad. If you're a bit of a geek and you like your books, and you like Harry Potter, I know this has nothing to do with World of Warcraft, but it's weird times. The Owls start today, and for those of you who are like, what the fuck is that? It's basically a book challenge so that you get rid of your TBR pal, your to be read pal. As many might know, I have ridiculous amounts of books in my house, which it's more like collecting, I buy new books, but I never ever start reading them. So this is a bit of a prompt for you to start reading certain books. So I need to read 6 books, I think it is. No, 7 books this month to finish my Owls and to get a homemade certificate that I have passed my Owls, and I can become a oh god, what am I'm becoming again in Harry Potter? Not a broom maker. It has to do with art. You see those paintings that come alive in pictures. That's basically the career I went for. So I'll be doing that. It's just, you know, you have to keep yourself busy with this kind of stuff. And there's only so many games you can play. Because I don't know how everyone else does it, but I can't sit in front of a screen 24/7. That drives me absolutely loopy. Maybe I need to invest in some of those glasses that have like blue reflection, or is it yellow glasses or something that doesn't hurt your eyes at a certain point anymore. So yeah, I'm keeping busy. I hope that all of you are keeping busy with whatever it is that you do, that you have to do. And of course, if you're a key worker, thank you for your service. It is very much appreciated, I think, by everyone in the world anyway. So yeah, I hope that you guys stay safe and well, and that everyone around you stays healthy. Right, let's jump into World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, of course, we got the experience buff. And I thought, oh, rejoice, I can level all my alts. I have 16 to level that have not reached level 120. Because I made many alts in the meantime. Yeah, I'm a little bit like daunted by the number, if I'm honest. I'm not going to lie about it. Also because I'm like, if we're getting more allied races, I'm fucked. Because I'm already in like, I don't know, 46, I think, with this. And there's only, you know, I want to make more, but I'm limited to 50, and I don't want to make a second account. Because I'm far too cheap to buy for to pay for 2 accounts. I really don't want to do that. So, yeah, I'm a little bit, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. But the leveling itself has gone quite well. So I level with heirlooms on. I don't have all the heirlooms. I don't have like 2 rings. I only have 1. And I don't have the PvP things because that's just too much effort. I just make sure that I have everything else for every slot that I can have. So I do that. I don't buy the potions. I should really from the garrison, but I don't. I don't tend to do that. I do level with war mode on, because every little bit helps. And the way that I go, I don't really encounter much of the other faction, in all fairness, because if you're Alliance, I just go to Redridge, Duskwood, what's the other place where it's like CSI Miami, but then Azeroth is going around that area. And it really, you don't really see anyone from the Horde. Same with the Horde side. If you just do the Barrens and Ashara, maybe Ashenville, you could see someone, but it's rare. It's very rare. And everyone seems too occupied with leveling anyway that no one really is doing any world PvP in the low levels. This could of course change when I leave Azeroth and I go to like Outland and stuff, but so far, playing in war mode, it doesn't really matter that much to me. So I'm doing that because it's an extra 25% for the Alliance. I can't remember how much it is for the Horde. I think 10 or something. It's every little bit helps. So that's also why I should really get those garrison potions. I should. But yeah, plus the 100% buff, it goes really quick now. I mean, you sneeze and you already get a level, you know. What I do is I put my characters, I always log out. I try to at least. I always log out in a inn. And if my rested XP is depleted, then I will put that character back into an inn and jump to a different alt. Just because, again, it helps. And unless I am really, really enjoying that alt and I just want to level a bit more, then I will stick with that one character. But at the moment, I've been switching a lot. So I don't feel like I've invested really in my characters, but a lot of them are in like the level 30 level range, a few are 40, and then I have a few brand new ones that I wanted to level. So I think they're only like level 10. But it's been alright. It's getting a little bit like, if you download the add-on Azeroth Autopilot, which I have done because it accepts quests for you, it tells you exactly, okay, go here, 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 do this. It makes it a little bit easier leveling, it's more fluid, but it's very boring if you always have to go to the same area. And that's why I tend to swap from Alliance to Horde, where my rested XP is depleted. just to keep it a little bit more interesting, but there's only so much rhetoric I can do. At a certain point I'm like, I fucking hate this. So I don't want to make it into a job, but it feels a little bit like it, especially because, you know, it's until the 20th of April, I think. I'm hoping that Blizzard is going to say, you know what, we're extending this, because looking at all of the news that we've had, I don't think we'll be out of this quarantine and isolation crap for a very long time. So I would be very happy and grateful if Blizzard actually would extend this for a longer period, but I guess we will see. I've also seen, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's also one of the things I've noticed with the game now. There's a lot more people in game, which is not a bad thing at all, because it makes the world more alive. But grouping and, dare I say, world etiquette has really changed a little bit. I see a lot of people who are not exactly sure what's going on in the game, and I never mind talking to people and saying, oh, you need to go here, or this is what you need to do, or because some people are returners and some people are new, and some are really genuinely interested, and then there's the people who are just bored, came back or just started it, and are just, you know, showing real proper troll behavior. And sometimes it makes grouping not a lot of fun. I personally don't mind people who are new and have no real clue what they're doing in dungeons. Not everyone will read up on certain things, and I think we as a community, again, this is my opinion, I think we as a community need to be a bit more patient and just tell people, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. If that person is horrible anyway, you can always put them on ignore and you won't be grouping with them anymore. But otherwise you could make an experience with someone really, really nice. I've seen some stories on some of the community groups I'm in for new players, and they said that they had a horrible experience and said, is this what dungeoning is? Is this what raiding is? And it's not. It really isn't. So I hope that those people get a nice community. I've directed some people like, okay, you need to find a guild. This is how you can find a guild. If there were an alliance site, you can join our guild if you're interested in that. But you can see that people are quite intimidated by that prospect. So yeah, all I can say is, you know, do your share of being a good community member, and maybe instead of losing your shit, try and help them. But if you get obvious trolls and people who are just trying out to ruin your fun, just put them on ignore. You know, put them on ignore and do something else. Because some people, I don't know. I guess isolation does, and quarantine does really weird things to people. So, yeah, the game seems more busy in that sense. It's changed a little bit. I'm not saying for the worse, it's just different. So that's really what I've been doing. I've just been leveling. I am debating if this leveling buff does expire, and I really don't feel like doing the same thing over and over again. I might actually jump back into Classic for a little bit, because a part of me wants to raid and another part doesn't. And I think it's because I quite like my alone time at this point in time, as weird as that sounds, while being in quarantine. I just noticed that I'm at that point in time in the game that I just want to do a few things just for myself. I have a plan of what I want to do, and as much as I love my guild, and my guildies, they're absolutely amazing, I just don't feel like I want to be in a raid environment at the moment. And I think that has very much to do with where my head is at this point in time. Because, and I've always been an open book with you guys. I do notice that this whole pandemic and how people react to it and post things on Facebook, and I know I should really just step away from it. It sometimes really gives me massive anxiety with how aggressive people are, how inconsiderate people are, and you know, you already have that when you have to go out for your shops. It feels surreal, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't want people around me. I don't want people around me. I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to do my thing and don't feel crowded on. And I just want to make one thing clear. I never got that feeling at all with my guildies, because everyone's lovely. But I do feel like a raid environment, it just, it's very much confining of, okay, you have to be there at that time, make sure you're prepared, because you want to do your bit. I don't feel like I'm mentally ready for that at this point in time. And I know it sounds really weird saying that, but I just can't really, I don't know. I can't cope with it at the moment. So maybe I'll do some LFR, because that's very undedicated. I wouldn't want to say, but you know what I mean. So yeah, anyhow, I think I'll do a bit of LFR just to have finalized everything, and I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe in a few weeks I'll feel great again, and I'll be raiding again with my lovely guild. But for the meantime, there's always classic and a lot of leveling. I really want to make a dent in those alts to reach 120, and hopefully by then I'll have figured out what I want to play in Shadowlands, because I'm still thinking I'll probably go for Rogue, and I'm hoping that they do something with subtlety. But for some reason Paladin is speaking to me this time. I don't know, but something to ponder about. Anyhow, I will leave you with a lovely interview I had with Bricco, and afterwards we'll talk about all your dirty little secrets that you told me on Twitter. So I will see you on the flip side. And with me today, I'm being joined by another brand new voice. Welcome, Bricco.
Well, thank you, Sil. Thanks for having me.
That's alright. I did pronounce your name correct, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, good. Because I'm so bad. Like I always say, I mispronounced Taliesin's name wrong the first time I ever talked to him, and it was just, well, I thought it was funny and mortifying at the same time. So, so I always make sure, just in case. All right. So, Bricco, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a longtime WoW player since 2000. I think it was 2000, late 2004, early 2005.
Okay.
I'm one of the vanilla guys, I guess. I started with the free trial thing and had a good time with it and fell in love with it.
That's always really good.
Yeah, and back to my name, you asked if you were pronouncing it right. I got a cute little backstory. My nephew was about 3 or 4 at the time, and I had a chocolate lab named Briscoe, and he couldn't say Briscoe. He could only say Bricco because he was too little. So that's what I named my dwarf pally. In honor of my nephew Nathan.
That is really cute. I do like stories about that. Okay. So you've played the game for a while now. So do you do anything else? Do you make YouTube videos, or do you live stream it?
I did do one live stream on Twitch, just one night. I think I titled it Casual Tryhard Keyboard Turner. I was toying with the idea of doing some of these visions and having people laugh with me, so because they're pretty difficult. But yeah, I'm going to start doing that, and I have had some thoughts of starting a podcast of my own. But we shall see how that transpires.
In all fairness, I always say to anyone, if you have something to say and you're not... I don't think podcasting is that daunting, but I've done it now for such a long time. Give it a shot. Oh, thank you. I'm not fishing for compliments, by the way.
No, you're not, but you deserve some. I really enjoy your show, and I have for a long time.
Thank you. That's really, really nice. Right, let's go to World of Warcraft, and then afterwards people will know exactly where to find you on Twitch and support you. So let's go to World of Warcraft. Horde or Alliance?
Alliance. For the Alliance.
How come? Why did you stick with Alliance?
Honestly, I saw the trailer for the game, and I saw the dwarven hunter with the bear. Mm-hmm. And I needed to be a dwarf. And so when I got my free trial going, I got into it with the dwarves, and they started in Anvilmar, and I just fell in love with that and Kranos, and then I realized I could be a pally or anything really almost with the dwarves. But anyway, that's where I got hooked, was that cutscene or whatever, the trailer.
You know, it's really funny. I hear from a lot of people that whether they chose Horde or Alliance was because of that intro, and it's either the Tauren that you see, or it's the dwarf, and I find that so interesting that no one goes for the other races, and it's always, no, I saw that, and that's what I wanted to play.
Yeah, Tauren was next, actually. I did do that afterwards, yeah.
That's so interesting to me. So they must have made a massive impact with that. Okay. So you said Dwarf Paladin. Is that still your main?
Always, yes. And it was fun, too, because after I got past my free trial, that's back when the servers were all so busy, and I couldn't get on Duskwood, which is the server I'm on. And so I just go on a different server and build a different tune. I had a human warrior. I had all kinds of different things. So I think I had about 10 different servers at one time, or however many you could have. I think it was limited. But
wow.
Because I couldn't get into, there'd be 5 and 8 hour queue times back then. So
yeah,
I had to be in the game somehow. So I got to see a lot of Stormwind then, and that Elwyn Forest was really pretty, and it just kind of solidified my alliance lean.
Yeah. Have you because you did say that Tauren was second on that list, have you ever made the switch to Horde side, or have you been like completely loyal to Alliance?
Well, I do have to admit, I had a really good group of friends. I think we were in Mists, and we were doing the guild achievement for the class and a race and class. What do they call it? Where you have one of every class and race.
Yeah.
And you get the guild achievement for another page or something. So I did change Bricco to a Tauren Paladin for a little while. And it just did not feel right, but they were a good group and we had a lot of fun. So he did go back. He did go back soon thereafter.
Okay, fair enough. Have you ever leveled a brand new Horde up to whatever max level it was at the time?
I still have Regimatic. He's my druid, Tauren druid. I do have Fuggles as my leader my leader right now. He's 113. He's a troll hunter.
Okay.
And I leveled him when I got into that guild back in Mists, Red Wolf's Den, I think it was. But anyway, he's at 113 now, and I'm going to fully take advantage of this 100% XP boost that we just got on the 20th.
I know. I'm praising and cursing Blizzard at the same time.
Yeah, right? Yep.
Okay, so let's go back to the Paladin. Has it always been Paladin for you, and why the Paladin?
I just have always, I think it fit me. I did look at kind of not the prerequisites, but like what matches your personality kind of thing that was going around back in vanilla. And I chose, or no, I was reading this WoW Starter book or whatever I bought, and they kind of gave the overview, and I'm more of a support class. I loved healing. At that time, I was a healer until Kata. Once Kata hit, then they sort of, they wrecked it for me a little bit with the Holy Power Edition. I still curse that, but yeah, I like being able to heal. I like being able to tank, and Ret Spec was never my thing, but I've been playing it now for so long that I've been mostly a single player, version of the game here the last 2 expansions. But yeah, I like taking care of my friends and being prepared for, raid encounters and whatnot, whether I'm healing or tanking.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so let's go back to 2004, 2005. How did it all start for you? What got you into World of Warcraft, and what was that point that you thought, oh, this is so the game for me?
I've always been a gamer, but I always grew up too where if it was nice outside, I was out running around on my bike or throwing the football to my buddies, stuff like that. But once I got older and I saw that trailer like we'd spoke about and I got the free trial, I just lost myself in it. You know, it was so neat. The first Griffin flight from, I think, Kranos to Ironforge still gives me shivers. When I think about it, and that's something that you can't recreate. Even though I tried in Classic here recently, you can't recreate that feeling, but it still is really cool. But I think just running by people and they're buffing you and you're buffing them and you don't know them or whatever, but you need help with quests. I think the community is what really kind of got its mitts in me and held me back then.
Okay, and I think that's for a lot of people. When you start playing an MMO, it's all of a sudden, oh, there's actual other people like talking in this game, and yeah, it's a bit of a revelation. I think if it's the first time for an MMO. Okay, so you said that you tried to recreate that feeling a little bit with Classic. Does that mean that you were one of those people who, like me, jumped in? Are you still playing it, or is it something that you're like, I don't have the time for it, unfortunately?
I got four or five tunes to like level 13 or 15 in that range, and then BFA just takes so much of my time, and I just don't have the time to sit and play. Classic requires a whole lot more time than BFA or retail or whatever you want to call it. You can pop in for 2 hours and get a lot done in the current game, whereas in Classic that's maybe 2 quests. So I'd like to play it more, but I just don't have that time. I'd like to get it to 60 before the gates of Anchorage open, because I don't remember that. I wasn't high enough back in Classics or back in Vanilla, so I don't know that I'm going to have time to get a level 15 up to 60 though.
Well, if it's anything like, I really hope it's not like it was when the gates opened, because all I remember from that event was the gates opening. I saw a lot of like AoEs. I saw everything stutter. I really didn't know what was going on, and all of a sudden everyone disconnected. So
big crash, yeah.
Yeah, I hope it won't be like that. But I guess it is. Now it makes for a good storytelling when you think back of stuff like that. But how did you find? Because I know that a lot of us jump back into Classic. I know I'm like generalization for all players, but did you also feel like I just want to see Classic and see if I can get that nostalgic feeling back, or curiosity? What were your first impressions of it?
I really enjoyed it. I liked having the talent tree back, even though back then I was such a noob. I had no idea what I was doing, and I had talents everywhere. Like, it was quite ridiculous, but I wanted that class identity back. We've lost quite a bit of... they kind of touched on it in Legion with the order halls, which was cool, but still, I just wanted the actual paladin, like, actual feel. And then the hunter, where you have to feed your pet and keep it happy and buy ammo, that, I don't know, it just touched all the feels for me from back then. If I wouldn't have played back then, I don't know that I would have enjoyed it. Because it is a whole lot, well, I shouldn't say more difficult, because the mechanics are still the mechanics, but you have to be so cautious in how many you pull and where you're at, and it lovingly slows the game down, I think is how to say it. That's
yeah, it's a completely different way of playing all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I got a buddy that's all he plays. He was retail, but now since Classic came out, he actually gets on me a little bit for not coming and joining him.
I do think it's nice, though, that we have that option, that, people who do want to go back to Classic and just that is the game for them, that they have that option now to just play that. And I think it's still people who enjoy World of Warcraft just in a different way than people who play the latest expansion, really.
Agreed.
So
Yeah, and
it's nice.
This boost is going to take a little bit, but I think as BFA winds down here, they're going to see more spike in numbers for Classic. I think people that are bored with the now game are going to maybe go back. Kind of like when it launched, it was the most watched thing on Twitch. I think it was something that was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, that's actually a really good point. I think it might be a while before we get Shadowlands. And I think, there's only so much of 8.3 that you can do before you're like, okay, either I'm taking a break or, that would be the perfect time to spend some time in Classic, because it does take a lot of time. You can take it a little bit easier before the new expansion comes out. So why not make use of it?
Right, exactly. Yep. And like this morning, just before this, I finally got Flight in BFA. Thanks to them nerfing it to Revered instead of Exalted, I was able to do that. So it takes me a while, but now I'm winding down. I might have more time for Classic.
It does help a lot, I think. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially now you say with the XP buff that we're all getting from, I think it was yesterday, for 100% extra XP. That will help a lot with, picking new alts or just, if you want to switch before Shadowlands, you never know. Okay, so let's go to a little bit to the future then, in that way. So I still find it weird I have to say last year. So last year at BlizzCon, Shadowlands was announced. How did you feel with the announcement?
Well, I loved the cinematic, but I have such Sylvanas fatigue that I was kind of hoping instead of Nyalotha, we'd be finishing her off in this one just to be done with it. But that being said, I'm super excited for Shadowlands. It's going to be, I think Blizzard's got a really good opportunity here to kind of start over. If you look at kind of the way the stories are going, even though they're dragging Sylvanas into another one, they've got kind of free range here to change the game. Almost from, if we're going back to Shadowlands, where we go when we die in game now, they can really kind of twist and write what they truly want now, maybe, and go back to, I don't know, maybe go back closer to the roots after they saw how popular Classic was. But yeah, I'm super excited for, especially like the different, what are they called? The like Bastion and
the Covenants.
Yeah. Some player agency, I think, is really cool.
Okay, that's really cool. So let's jump into those Covenants then. They were announced. What were your thoughts about them when you got told, okay, guys, we're all getting Covenants. You need to start picking which ones you want. You get like these rewards. What were your thoughts?
I think they're all pretty cool as long as one doesn't do better for DPS than the other, or for tanking than the other, or for healing than the other. I want it to be mostly aesthetic and just be able to enjoy it. It'll be fun on our first tunes, like mine will be on Bricco, my dwarf Pally. He'll go through all of them and get a good idea. But after doing a little bit of research on him, he's definitely going to be Bastion.
Is that because it's so based on like the Valkyr and the whole Paladin kind of like Christie vibe? Yeah,
it is. And, in reading the other ones, he just doesn't fit. Like if I level up my Death Knight, he'll for sure be in Maldraxxus, or my Warlock, that type of a feel.
Yeah.
And I just don't want it to make a difference on your DPS or your things like that, because that's a hole it's probably going to open up when we get there, because there's going to be min-maxers and whatnot telling us what's best. But I think just as the overall vibe, you should be able to play, your Druid in Ardenweld, or your Hunter for that matter, like Ravendreth would be great for a Shadow Priest, I think, so yeah, I find it's fun to have that choice.
I find it really funny that a lot of people who might not have been like RPers or consciously RPers, I'm not saying that you're not, but I hear that so much that people go, yeah, this class really suits that Covenant, and I'm like, Yeah, but you're thinking as a role player now.
Absolutely, and I've not done any of that. I mistakenly ended up on one of those servers back in the day, and it was still fun. It was a great community, but I was very confused a lot. Like, well, what's this whisper? What? I don't know. Is this a question or a statement? You know, but you know, it would be fun to kind of dabble in that a little bit, just to kind of get a feel. And your tips and stuff on your show over the last, you know, since I've been listening, have been kind of neat and have kind of opened my eyes to it, and have a little bit of kind of a, not necessarily a desire just yet, but kind of a curiosity about starting some RP. That'd be kind of cool, I think.
Okay, Mike, this is totally unrelated then to all the questions that I have for you. This is more an RP question. So, what has stopped you from doing it?
I think being nervous about it and knowing I'm not super creative, and I was really not. I didn't have really much of an idea about it until I truly started listening to your stuff, and then a few other podcasts that touch on it. And I got to thinking, man, that'd be really cool just to kind of play that out and be that. But then, like I said, the creativity or lack thereof that I kind of have kind of makes me nervous about it. But I don't know. I think that's it. You know, it's not for fear of feeling awkward or anything like that. I deal with that stuff pretty well, you know, but it's just kind of limitation I put on myself, even whether it should be there or not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I get it, and I think we like. I don't want to force anyone into doing something, but I think everyone has been there with that, and I hear it from a lot of people. That's why I ask, because I hear a lot of people go like, "Oh yeah, it sounds really cool. Yeah, I was on the server," and then you hear that people start freezing because they're like, "Yeah, I was on there, but it was really intimidating to see all those people play, and I don't know what to say." And, so I think. Not just for you, but I think for everyone who has a little bit of that, like deer in headlight syndrome, if I may call it that.
Sure.
Don't worry too much about it. I think if you whisper someone who starts to RP with you, and you go like, "I'm really sorry, I'm new, so bear with me." They are like 9 out of 10 times, people will give you that space and will be very, very nice to you and will help you a little bit.
Yeah, and you spoke about some add-ons, you know, in previous shows, and that's really neat, where you can kind of get a kickstart with your backstory and whatnot. That's pretty cool. If I was to do it, I would definitely utilize some of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it will give you a little bit of an idea of what other people around you write. And I can already say, like, probably 50% of people on an RP server are either not RPing or are only just curious, just to see what people put in there, or just, you know, do it for the atmosphere that they can taste. So I don't think, I really think that people shouldn't feel intimidated about it. I know it could be.
I am pretty curious about the Lions, or is it the Lions Pride Inn on Moonguard?
I can't say anything for the one on Moonguard because I've never been there, but if it's anything like the one in Argent Dawn, I hold my hand up. I've been in there many a times just because I find it hilarious. And there are some really, I'm not saying that anyone is nasty on there at all, because everyone I've talked to is really, really friendly. But there is a certain type of RP that goes on.
It's like a meme statement now, you know, like you can
I know.
in your head.
It's just like, yeah, that's it. And that's fine, but I'm just going to like advocate for everyone else who goes in there. Not everyone does that. And I don't know. It's if there's any threshold that's low with RP, it's in there. So I don't think anyone would get judged in there. So just feel free to just jump in and do, you know, the regular RP, not the RP that's normal for Goldshire, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I think if you want to do it anywhere, that's probably the easiest place to learn, because people don't take everything so serious there. So if you make mistakes, it's perfectly fine in there.
Very good, very good.
So yeah, that, you know, maybe for the next year, or in that lull from 8.3 till Shadowlands, that's always something that you could try, I guess.
Yeah, that could be.
Exactly. Okay. So with the covenants that we're going to get, if you have to level an alt, so if you're, you've done your paladin and you've gone with the Kyrians, or Bastion, where would you go then for any alts? Are you very much like, okay, well, I've already planned that this is what I wanted, because she said a little bit about, your Death Knight would go here, and how would you plan that?
I think I'd get a better feel after you go through it with your first, with your main, because you got to play all of them. Mm-hmm. But just from research and whatnot, my next tune will be my hunter, my Night Elf Hunter, who has also been with me since 2004 or 5, whatever it was. And he, from what I see now, he will be Ardenweald, or Night Fae, or, that one. And I've, like I said, though, it does depend a little bit when we play through them and what they give our classes back, too.
Yeah.
That could change things a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone is like, what will happen to my class?
Sure, yeah, exactly. Like, unprune. Yes, please, unprune. I really wish we could go away from holy power on my pally so I could heal again, but I don't know what it's a mind block or if I'm just not good at learning new things. But since Kata, that really broke my heart. Logged into Kata and went to heal in our dungeons, and I just couldn't do it. Felt so bad, so that's when I switched to tank. And
yeah, well, hopefully, I mean, it does feel like at times with certain classes they do a huge overhaul. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Straight.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us it will be fingers crossed, because I hope to God they're going to do something with my subtlety rogue, because that's just one of those. Okay, so anything else that you heard with Shadowlands that you thought, yes, that's something I'm really looking forward to?
I really want to see Varian.
Ooh, that will be interesting.
Yeah, now that oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, because Varian is so interesting with his death, and I'm really wondering if we are going to see him. I would love it if we would see him, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So, since I started listening to all these different assorted podcasts, I never knew a whole lot about the lore. I was just enough to be effective in game or whatever. Mm-hmm. And since, I don't know, last April, I think, is when I was turned on to the podcasts, and I've caught up on the lore through various different ones, for various different podcasts, and knowing how we lost Varian, it's really frustrating now. It sucked at the time too, but yeah, Varian and Tyrillin and stuff like that. Stuff like that was, I don't know, the lore caught up with me, and now I'm blanking on some of the different people I want to see there, but it's just to see Arthas maybe. One of my favorite bads. Is he able to reclaim himself, or not reclaim? What's the word?
Redeem.
Redeem. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. Just stuff like that. And then I'd love to see Karn. Or no, Blade.
It would be really, really interesting to see who we will and will not see, because I think for some of them they've said that we'll see some surprises. I think for me, when I was still a druid, I think the fact that, is it Malorn that we're going, or scenarios that we will see, that was a big one for me when I heard that. But I think, like you say, Arthas is an interesting one, because this is no spoiler, because Wrath of the Lich King has been out for years now.
Right.
But when Arthas dies, and he says that all he can see is black, it makes me wonder if that's one of the people that we'll encounter in the mall.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yep.
That will be interesting to see if we get anything, and especially because Sylvanas is so prominent. Well, I say prominent, but she does feel like she's going to be a big part of the expansion. Having him there, that would be a very interesting shift.
Exactly. It'd be fun to have some play between he or between he and Varian and Sylvanas, just because how it all ended. And I'm a little.
It will be interesting to see where all of this goes. Okay. Right. So let's go to the leveling. And not just have we gotten a bonus right now, but we also will be getting somewhat, I don't want to really call it a bonus, but just a big change in how we level alts in Shadowlands. How do you feel about the changes with, the fact that you can probably level a lot quicker? They say that it's going to be 3 times quicker. And that you can just dedicate yourself to one expansion, play the entire story, and that should be maybe enough, or maybe you have to go to a second one. How do you feel about those changes?
I really like that, because there's going to be a lot of people that maybe, as you level now, you don't spend too much time in Mists of Pandaria, for instance, or Burning Crusade, whether you like it or not. You level out so quick. So I think for the overall maybe health or standing of the game with a lot of people, they might see more lore and flavor and really enjoy it more. Kind of like Lore Walker Cho says, slow down. Just kind of. I really like it because you get to choose too. So for whatever alt you want to go to BC or to go to Cataclysm, which will not be any of mine. But like I could see doing Howling Fjord over and over, like I loved it. It was the music and everything was so great there. But I really think that's going to be a good step. People that are too busy to get to end cap and whatnot can slow down and just kind of get more of the story and maybe even get more attached.
Yeah, but are you planning on leveling any alts when Shadowlands is out?
Yeah, I am I'm an alcoholic.
Okay, so am I.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure which ones yet. I think I've got 12 at 100 or higher. So I can't find myself playing my Demon Hunter I made when they were able. It's just not. I'd have to give it more of a chance, honestly. But it wasn't for me right off the bat. I think I got her to 103. But for the most part, I got to pick and choose which alts. But I've got my main. I've got my Golvikes, my hunter, my Night Elf hunter on Alliance, and then I've also got, I think I said earlier, Fuggles on my Troll hunter, and I use him so I see both sides of the story. The horde. Yeah. And whatnot. But I've got a whole host of others that are in the. Actually, I think 95 to 110 range, so I have some time to figure out which ones I want to play where, I think.
And also with the level squash, that will be very interesting to see where everyone is based on for that.
Exactly.
So Shadowlands comes out, you've like most of us will probably go to our mains first, unless you really want to change. So say that Shadowlands has been out for a little bit, and you want to start leveling something completely fresh. Will you pick a dedicated expansion for a certain race or class, or is it like, no, this is just my favorite, I don't care which race or class I'm playing, this is the expansion I'm going to play?
That's a good question, because I think I think that my love for BC would probably have my older characters that did do some leveling there but didn't finish. They might finish up in BC versus like I truly loved Mists of Pandaria, and that could be a brand new Toon Place.
Okay.
Or something along those lines. And I really enjoyed leveling in Draenor. So that could be somewhere for, like, I think if I was to roll a new hunter, I would probably just go to Draenor. That was pretty awesome for all the animals and whatnot. But yeah,
okay.
I think that's probably the way I'd lean.
Yeah, I always find it very interesting to hear that people take different approaches for that. And I think because a lot of us seem to be hating on Draenor a lot, but I think it's just because we all got a little bit fatigued with Warlords. But the actual storytelling is not a bad one for the expansion at all.
No, I thought it was wonderful, and the zones were beautiful, and I really enjoyed the garrisons. It was just, I think it was the right idea and the wrong, the way they carried it out. They were here in player housing for so long and whatnot that they thought they'd give that a shot. Well, it actually isolated us a little bit more, in game, I think, than bringing us together. We'd have friends come over for the invasions and whatnot, but for the most part, you could do all your farming and all your ore, and you didn't have to get out too much, really.
Yeah, very true.
A lot of money, a lot of gold.
All I'm going to say is, Blizzard, if Animal Crossing can do player housing, that I'm just saying. So.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's go to a little bit of lore and stuff. So, how do you feel about the two factions now that there's peace? But everyone knows when I say peace, it's probably temporarily. We know what Warcraft is like. Yeah,
air quotes.
Yeah. So, what's your feeling about where we stand now as factions?
I think I'm sort of indifferent to it, only because it's always been the same kind of a thing. But what I would like to see with this kind of supposed peace would be to be able to group with the opposite faction. Okay. I don't know that, like for dungeons and raids, not necessarily out in the world, although I don't know that would be a big difference. But just show that we're at peace. It doesn't feel like we are. I see a buddy of mine on his goofy Tauren, and I would like to go maybe raid with him, and we can't. So I think, I don't know, that might be pie in the sky, but I think that'd be kind of cool if we were able to, we can press World PvP and do stuff. Why can't we press, World Peace or whatever button and be able to group with our friends on the other faction?
Yeah, sort of like a mercenary mode, but then for dungeons and raids instead of PvP. That's not. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that, and I don't think that's a bad thing, especially if you want to play with your friends who are a different faction. It will give you a little bit more options, really.
Right.
Okay. What has the Warcraft community meant to you?
Well, since I've been listening to the podcasts, all assorted ones, too many to name, really. And I've been paying attention more on Twitter the last, almost a year now. It's such a cool thing. It really promotes like a family feeling. I'm pretty blessed. I've got a lot of good friends in my real life. We just have a blast. And so I don't necessarily need it in the game, but you know what? It's there. And you don't even have to look for it. It's kind of neat. You start interacting, and all of a sudden you're just in the community. It's, I don't know, as long as you're a good person, I think it doesn't matter. You're just involved, just like that. It's, I don't know how else to say it, really. It's
no. I think you're right. It is very nice, and I think I find it interesting to see that, especially like the Twitter community seems to be like a big community. Of course there's some toxic people. That's what it's Twitter for, I guess.
Right.
But most of the time, it feels like the Warcraft Twitter community is quite positive and welcoming to new people.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm still like kind of in awe as to how quickly people started interacting and whatnot when you started liking their stuff or enjoyed some of their content. And in fact, like later today, I'm actually going to be, I think we're going to raid with Syrup and a few buddies. I think Jim and Fear will be there, I think. I didn't know these guys, but I listen to their stuff and just interact with them on Twitter, and that's how I got to know Cy. We're friends in game now, and sorry if I'm doing someone else's stuff, but yeah, it's just I never would have thought of that. And me and one person, a good friend of mine, have a guild. Well, it's just us, and she doesn't play much anymore, so it's mostly become a one-player game. Well, now all of a sudden, this community with these people have invited me to go raiding with them, and that's that's what makes it a special game, I think, is try hard raiding, with your friends. So,
Yeah.
even though I'm a keyboard turner, I'm going to give it my best shot.
You know what? I've asked questions about what people's I'm not going to call it dirty little secrets, but what their secrets are, and I've seen keyboard turner come up several times, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And again, people can't really tell anyway. I think you can't really see it so quickly unless you really look at characters and how they move. But surely you have better things to do than watch other people's
Right, exactly.
playstyles.
There's no sense in raging about something like that. I'm never going to meet the top parsers anyway, so how I turn really doesn't matter, I don't think.
Exactly. As long as you turn and get out of the shit,
Yep,
that's
get
enough,
out of the
I
crap.
think.
Yep, exactly. Don't stand in shit.
Exactly. Okay, so let's go to a lighter question. What's your favorite in-game food?
I did a little bit of looking, and I had kind of forgotten. It's the storm chops.
Ooh, okay.
On attacking stuff, you throw lightning out, and it's kind of a neat. It looks really cool in game, and I have that with I have to throw in a jug of Badlands bourbon because it washes it down perfectly.
Nice. Now that you say, yeah, I remember the storm chops. That's actually really cool. So you can play Thor if you want to.
Exactly, and that's awesome. I have Mjolnir on my shoulder, actually.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to start being creative and just come up with stuff like that.
I'm half
okay,
there, ain't I?
Exactly.
Here I come.
I like it. Okay, so we've had it now to our last question of the interview.
Oh, so soon? This is a blast.
So soon. So this is the weird question, which is, what is your whisper? And for those who are listening for the first time, whispers, it's basically anything. So it could be a wish that you have for the game, any game mechanics you want to get implemented or taken out, theory crafting about the story, just anything. So, Bricco, what is your whisper?
I would love to see Tier Gear come back. I understand RNG and whatnot, but I would like to see Tier Gear come back and get the benefits of having a 2-piece, a 4-piece, and whatnot. And that might be just nostalgic, but I think we need a little more. I don't know if player agency is right, but then you go back to these raids because you really want that, and you spend more time with friends and whatnot for that. And and I just, when you saw Tier Gear, when you saw Toons decked out in their Tier Gear, and any time in the game when we had Tier Gear, you knew that person, he or she, really did something cool, and you really wanted to be like that. I think if we brought that back, it might add a little more desire. Instead of going to face the RNG gods, you're going to face something for an end result. I think that would be pretty awesome. And then I also think guild housing would be very cool.
That is something we can only keep hoping for. No, I like both of those things. I think, God knows I'm such an advocate for Tier Gear because, one, I'm a lazy gamer, and it was just easy going, yeah, I'm a druid, so this is my druid set. This is supposed to be the best. I don't have to worry about any other sets or any other stuff because, no. So, I think it just makes things a tiny bit easier. But that is me personally. But it's like what you said, because I remember back in the days when we raided Blackwing Lair, it meant something when you were wearing a tier set because people were a bit like, not that you want people to be in awe, but people can see that you take it serious. And that you work hard for something.
In the mounts too, when you saw that first mount, holy smokes, just that kind of, yeah, I did that, or whatever, and it just adds a little more to your character, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and I think, it's weird explaining it to perhaps listeners who were not there at that time, but I don't know. It gives, I think, also a bit of a feel of nostalgia, probably. And again, I'm a lazy gamer, so I like it when things are easy. So that's really me. Okay, and player housing.
Just say you're a casual tryhard.
That's, you know what, casual tryhard is not a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So, player housing, how do you envision that?
I think it'd be... Because the game has become so single-player, if you want it to be, that player housing would be probably the way they would go. Kind of like the garrisons. But I don't know, like, if you can't do it in your home city or your outskirts city, you know, like in Brill or something like that. I don't know. If you can't choose, I don't know. It'd be just like your garrison, and it probably wouldn't last very long. But I think guild housing would promote more of the community to be together to do stuff. And I guess I don't know how they'd carry that out. That might be a really big ask for the devs, but it'd just be cool to have somewhere to hang your stuff. Kind of like what the garrisons did, you know, for antiques or for archaeology and whatnot. But I don't know.
I think it's certainly doable. I guess it's a little bit like, can the servers take certain things?
Sure.
Because I can't remember if the garrisons had issues with phasing or things like that when you would invite people to your garrison. I can't remember that. So those will probably have to be issues that they have to iron out. But
yeah, that was when I started, you know, I'd have 1 or 2 people help with invasions and vice versa. So but I never had a full party. So I remember it being laggy at times, but I guess I don't know if it was, you know, just because of the garrison, or if it, you know, could have been a DDoS or something, you know. It's going to be interesting, but I know I'm like the one who always points at the other games. A lot of other games manage to do something like that, so I think on Blizzard's part it would be a really good move for them to have something in the game that people have been asking for now for a very long time. And they see that too. You know, they're wise. You know, they know. It's just a matter of they want to do it right if they're going to do it. You know, I think they learn a lot from garrisons, and even for that matter, class halls. You know, so I mean, it's obvious that I think it's widely known they have the technology and whatnot and the tools, but to do it right and put their name on it is another story.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, we'll see what the future brings. We might be pleasantly surprised during Shadowlands.
Here's to hoping.
I know. All right, Bricco, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest.
Well, thank you, Syl. It was my pleasure. I really enjoyed this, and it was great to meet you.
Oh, good. I'm happy to hear that. So if people want to follow you and find you on the interwebs, where can they do that?
I do have a Discord. It's Bricco #6834. I'm on Twitter at BriccoStud, BriccoStud, and on Twitch I am Bricco041.
Perfect, and I'll make sure that all those links are on the show notes as well, so that people can add you. And again, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest.
Wonderful, thanks again, Syl.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was lovely talking to Bricco. And we are going to talk about all your secrets now that you told me, I guess, sort of confessional on Twitter. I wanted to know your secret, and if you want to be part of the question or questions of the week, then go to Twitter and follow at whispers_of_war. Right, here we go. Alicera said, I click some of my spells. I think we have a lot of people who click their spells or who are keyboard turners, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Nick Z said, I want Jaina and Bane to have a kid together named Jane. I approve. I think, she's already been with dragons, so I think a Tauren wouldn't... hurt might not be the right word to use, but you know what I mean. Let's go to the next one. Ali said, over the years, I have let a few people die as a healer who were actively ignoring mechanics frequently and taking too much damage. Good thing I use push to talk so they don't hear my evil laugh. I love it, Ali. That's really, really fun. Also, I want to congratulate... I know it's a bit late, but congratulations, Ali, on your birthday. Make sure that you follow Dungeon Fables, of course. Let's continue. Randy Bailey said, I have been a known pre-Lich King to have a temper. Pull an entire room to my raid, vanish, and drop. Ooh, that's very evil, but I've seen that happen a lot. Oron said, I use the arrow keys because I'm a fool and never learned WASD. Again, I think a lot of people do, so it's nothing really to be ashamed of. Cheryl said, when I pug, I tell the tank I won't heal anyone else who pulls unless they, the tank, tell me it's okay. The you pull it, you tank it, and don't get heals causes so many rage quits, but it's always more pleasant when the tank is pulling. I like that one. Scarlet High Lord, Red Pally Jill, the Ashbringer, said, total clicker here. WoW was my first online game. I do not understand macros. I do not understand keybinds. I even took the time to mock myself in my own videos. You know what? Again, this is like the most time I've seen people say, I don't do key bindings. I click my spells. I think that's fine. Again, who has time to really check that to see how you play, you know? So yeah, Laura Nay, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Laura Nay said, I was once vote kicked as a tank in Dire Maul because a DPS said I was going the wrong way. I was going after Puzzlin. You know, that's this is me. This was the little what is it? The imp. That's it. The imp that you have to follow to finally kill, and then you get a book, I think, or something for a quest. So she continues. I was going after Puzzlin as I have for years. My husband was healing after the two other idiot DPS approved the kick. My husband pulled the whole room in Ghost Wolf, laughed, and left the party. You know what? They fucking deserve that. I'm sorry, but they did. Yeah. So I think that was a good one. Sai said, now that I have a podcast that's trying to help people, I've stopped some of my bad habits. Some is the keyword here. I still don't watch raid videos before new bosses. My raid lead is so good at explaining things that I've gotten lazy. Sorry, Hika. I have to admit, okay, my confession, I tend to do the same thing, not until we're near the boss will I watch the videos, and I'm very happy that Hazel does very concise, is that the right word, videos about the encounter, and because I need to see it. It's great reading up on it, but I just don't know what they mean with that, so I need to see it, but I also need it in like a bite-size format, because if it's too long I zone out, I lose all interest. And it helps when you have good raid leaders, which we do, who just tell you, okay, now you do this, now you do that, do this. It makes it smoother for me. But yeah, having some videos and watch them right before the encounter, that's what I secretly do. Don't hate me, guildies. That's, I can't watch it beforehand because I'll have forgotten by that time. I'm too old now to remember all that shit. So yeah, that's my confession. And we go to the final two confessions. One is from Dalek Kupo, who said, I really prefer to play it solo. I don't mind when I bump into others naturally in the world, but yeah, a solo experience for me. I kind of understand that. Like I said, I'm at that point in time now that I sometimes need to step away from everyone, and it's just more enjoyable to me. And in the end, it is your money. You pay for this, so you can do whatever the hell you want, really, for this game. But yeah, I kind of understand it. And the final one from Bricco said, back before battle tags, if I wasn't in the mood to heal a dungeon, I made a different tune on a different server to just play and chill. Incognito mode, if you will. And I think many healers have been there before battle tag IDs. So yeah, I get where you're coming from. Yeah, so that's the end of the show. Again, I hope that all of you are well. Let me know what you're doing in game at the moment, or even at home? How are you spending your time? For those that don't have to go to work or don't have to work, how are you trying to not go absolutely loopy? I'm really curious to see how everyone deals with this. And let me know what your goals are in World of Warcraft. Next week I have a bit of a different show, because I had 3 lovely gentlemen on who did our first roundtable. So hopefully that went alright. I think it went alright. I hope they thought the same. So we're talking about corruption and corrupted gear. So we'll be talking about that. And there's already a question about it, so if you have an opinion about it, just scroll back into the tweets and you will find it and answer that one. And I'm going to hold more roundtables. One will be about the ladies in World of Warcraft and about female players and where we are at nowadays in society with being a female in World of Warcraft, and if we've noticed anything different through the years. And there will be class discussions as well. So if you want to put yourself forward for a roundtable or a subject, don't feel intimidated by it at all. It's just as if we're in the pub and we're just having a nice chat. You know, we can't go out to the pub now, so we'll just have to bring the pub into WoW or something like that. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for listening and for your patience. Like I said, I wasn't really up for doing anything last week with everything that was going on, so my apologies for a week delay, but it's here now. So have a great time, guys, and if you want to follow the show, you can do that in several ways. Go to whispersofwar.podbean.com for all the old shows and show notes. Of course, join dragonpoweredstudio.com/Discord if you want to be part of the conversation. There's free game suggestions, and we always get together on every other Saturday, I think it is, to play some games together as well, so be part of that. And Twitter at whispers_of_war, or my personal one, which is McMonkeys, what is that? You can email the show, whispersofwarpodcast@gmail.com, and Twitch, of course, twitch.tv/McMonkeys with 2 Zs. And I think it's time to start streaming now, because I need to do something to get to stay sane. So I would love to talk to some people. So if you do catch me on Steam or on stream, then don't expect just World of Warcraft. There will be many different games, because I like to stream variety of games, really. So that's really it. I could use your company. So have a great time, guys. I hope that you're all well, and just make the best of it, I guess. That's all we can do. And I will talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.